No, I'm not playing this game. I'm casting this game. Hello, everyone. This is Crota coming at you, giving you game number 3 in the series. Yes, I only have games 1 and 3. Game 2 was played on the non-official Blizzard version of non-Blizzard version of Echo Isle, meaning I don't have that particular map, meaning I cannot cast it for you. If game 2 is as good as game 1, I do really apologize. I really wish I could have seen that game as well. Now, if you guys hear a little bit of background noise, my oldest daughter, Aria, is watching me cast this game. Hold on a second. Say hi.
Hi.
Alright, so yeah, my oldest daughter, Aria, is watching me cast this game, and if I am turning my daughter into a gamer at the age of 5, well, at least the culture will have adjusted for it as we now get things underway. Fly spawning on the top right-hand side of the map as the blue orc. Meanwhile, the yellow human, Infi, on the bottom left. We'll see what's going to be going down on this particular map. I do think this was a best of 3 series, and I think Infi was able to even things up at 1 game apiece, just because Echo Isle is such a strong human map. There's really not that many items for the Blade Master to pick up. Nothing like the plus 22 damage that we saw on the Blade Master in game number 1 on Twisted Meadows. So we'll see what happens there. Game 1, really close game throughout. Couldn't make the prediction on who was going to win up until the very end when things just started to unravel for Infi. Now, as things get underway here, there is the Blade Master being trained up. There is that grunt. And what I'm really looking for is that Voodoo Lounge. Fly yet to set up a Voodoo Lounge, which means that he's probably going to go out and do some harassment. If you're going to be doing creeping, you're going to be staying close to base. And by staying close to base, that's when you can really start benefiting from those healing salves and things of that nature. Blade Master may try and pick up 1 or 2 items, but I don't expect him to stick around for very long unless he starts building that Voodoo Lounge in just a moment. And there you can see it. Fly did end up going for a faster stronghold before that tech to tier 2. Meanwhile, let's take a look at Infi, and Infi is now also foregoing that arcane vault until a little bit later. Archmage now rounding the corner, gonna go after this Forest Troll High Priest, gonna go ahead and take that down. Blade Master picking up a Wand of Illusion off of this creep camp here as the Voodoo Lounge now finally goes down. Blade Master gonna catch sight of this right here. Oh, there's the Blade Master. Did the Blade Master pick up any of the useful items? No, not quite sure. As you can see, the Wand of Illusion Blade Master getting kind of in front of that Archmage. Archmage now able to sneak away, but is taking a fair bit of damage, down to 300 hit points, as the Grunt could have gotten in front of that Archmage to allow for another blow to that poor Archmage. Archmage down to 275, and you can see that the Grunt is just trying to squeeze out ahead and just causing more and more damage to that Archmage. He's now down to 227 as he runs for the hills. Meanwhile, over here to the top right, you can see the Voodoo Lounge is just about done. Stronghold about 2/3 of the way completed. And in comparison, the tech to keep just now started by Infi. So Infi is going to be behind on that second hero, but perhaps the timing on the heroes will be about the same if we do see a Beastmaster hired from that tavern once more. Archmage still running back and forth. Blade Master trying to get in front, and looks like that Archmage is going to be down to 147 hit points, and those grunts individually being controlled. Infi knowing that he has to juke, double juke, and even triple juke to get away from that Blade Master. Blade Master running every which way around the map, and this is not going to be good for Infi, as I believe grunts are coming around the corner the other way. If the Archmage is not careful, oh, a little bit of an ensnare snafu. Wow, that was a big mess up there. The creeps really not liking Fly, ensnaring that poor Grunt, as the footmen are now trying to finish things off a bit as well. All right, Archmage down to 115 hit points. And this is one of those situations where that without that Ring of Protection +2, this would be a much closer story, as that Blade Master trying to catch up to that Archmage. Archmage able to now slip away and perhaps get away freely. Bestiary now being started. Spirit Lodge now being started. as Infi running around the corners here. There's the grunt to try and get in front, and a water elemental was dropped, and a beautifully dropped water elemental to path his own unit. All right, Blade Master may try and wind walk here, and oh, with that wind walk, the Archmage knows, you know what, I need to use a Scroll of Town Portal. Not only do I not want to give the experience to my opponent, I do not want to lose all of the creeping time on my Archmage here, as the resurrection would just take far too long. Arcane Sanctum, number 1, being constructed. Number 2 should be started here in just a moment. Peasants need to really work overtime to try and break free, as we're going into a Blood Mage. All right, Blood Mage, a bit of a surprise. I'm not quite sure what to expect. Perhaps Infi has been playing Heroes of the Storm, likes Kel'Thuzad so much with that Flame Strike that he's decided, you know what, Flame Strike is broken, so I'm going to use a Flame Strike Blizzard strategy with slow over the Beastmaster, constant pressuring of the Bestiary and the Spirit Lodge. Now, I like this particular change up in tempo by Infi. Infi, in game number 1, as you remember, used Beastmaster, Quill Beast, and Water Elementals to really delay the Spirit Lodge and the Bestiary. Fly, in game number 3 here, responded with a quick tech to tier 2 so he could build these buildings faster. Now, if Infi wasn't adapting his strategy, he wouldn't know that or if he wasn't adapting his strategy, he would have just gone the Beastmaster again, and the Beastmaster would not have been nearly as strong, because the Beastmaster would not be able to actually put pressure on these buildings. But by going perhaps Flame Strike and Siphon Mana, he can slow down the Shadow Hunter, which is a very, very important task. In addition to slowing down the Shadow Hunter, he can also cast Flame Strike, which is a very, very deadly skill, especially against an Orc player who really can't ensnare a Blood Mage fast enough to prevent that damage. Vampiric Aura on that Archmage now. Shadow Hunter is sitting at level 2. Blood Mage is going to be, or is already at level 2. We haven't seen what that second skill is as of yet. I believe the Siphon Mana is going to go back into that Archmage here in just a moment. There you have it. Give that mana back to the man. Always very, very helpful, as the Archmage now pretty much back up to near maximum mana. The Blood Mage, perhaps wanting to find another target here in just a second. Nope, none of these targets have mana. I'm sure he'll find a willing victim here in just a moment. Double Rings of Protection +2. Blood Mage gonna most likely siphon... Nope, deciding to back off here. Archmage gonna be allowed to get to level 2. I think that's the real goal. Or sorry, level 4 on this Archmage. And if he can get to level 4 on the Archmage, that would be a very big deal. The Blood Mage, wait, where's the Blood? No, Blood Mage did end up getting some of that experience because he wanted to come over there. Wow, that Footman's so low on life, somehow still staying alive there. Archmage picks up the Tome of Intelligence +2. Blade Master now nearby. I believe he took down a low hit point Footman, now is running for the hills. As you can see, there's the Banish on the Blade Master. Oh, so Banish in order to take the Blade Master out of the fight. All right, so Banish being used instead of Flame Strike. Now, what are the benefits of Banish? Banish allows focus fire from your casters to be that much more efficient. Casters deal additional magic damage onto a unit that is in the ethereal form. Also, you can take units, I guess, out of the ethereal form if you want to, specifically those Spirit Walkers. But I was expecting perhaps a Flame Strike strategy eventually if the Archmage does decide to go for Blizzard. That did work out well for him earlier on, but perhaps he's just playing a completely different strategy once more. Double Gloves of Haste, very, very useful item there. Meanwhile, oh wow, this is going to be a potential Creepjack here in just a second. Kodo Beast, Water Elementals, Blood Mage. Oh, this could all be very, very bad news. Here comes the uphill fight, and there's the Blood Mage, there's the Siphon Mana, there's the Hex. Rounding things out in just a little bit, and there now is the Disenchant. Water Elemental pretty much getting destroyed in an absolute second. Oh, there's the Banish onto the Blade Master. Blade Master now pretty much out of mana in an instant, as Infi gonna be left to finish clearing up this Forest Troll, Berserker, Ogre Mauler Creep Camp. I think there was an Ogre Magi there. Yeah, there was. That was taken out by the Blade Master or Shadow Hunter earlier. Alright, Shadow Hunter has a Health Stone in addition to a Potion of Greater Healing. Talk about an absolute nightmare. The only thing worse would be if the Blade Master had Claws of Attack, 2 Claws of Attack plus 12, and a Gloves of Haste, but I don't know, 3 Health Stones is quite scary indeed. That Shadow Hunter has all the necessary items, and there's the Blizzard coming in from the other side here. Alright, Blizzard coming through there. That Blizzard didn't really do much of anything. There's Siphon Mana again. I guess it's not really a Siphon when you're giving mana to your teammate. Are we going to see a Siphon Mana? Nope, the Forest Troll High Priest out of mana, so the Blood Mage, pretty much no real way of getting extra mana. Oh, going to completely drain the Blade Master once more, as the Blood Mage now down to 145 mana, maybe going after the Spirit Walker here in just a moment. There it is, and I'm waiting for the Hex. There's the Hex as the towers are now coming into play. All right, no Ivory Towers. There's the Blizzard. Where is the Ensnare? There it is. Archmage now in a little bit of trouble. Blood Mage could really go for some Flame Strikes right now, but if he didn't go for Banish, there's some more Siphon Mana again, as we see another Banish onto the Blade Master. Blade Master, however, using much of the mana from the Spirit Walkers to break the break the Ethereal form, as the Guard Towers are now coming up. All right, we now see a little bit of pressure. Blood Mage coming back. Archmage now doing a little bit of retreating, and this is a weird situation for Fly to be in. He can't really retreat. If he retreats, those Guard Towers will be up and running. But if he sticks around, and if he doesn't retreat, the Archmage and the Blood Mage will pretty much be able to escape without any real problem. All right, Blood Mage. Oh, Ethereal form on himself. Gonna pick up a Goblin Zeppelin. Is he gonna pick up a Goblin Zeppelin? Where is it? Oh, Ethereal form again. What is going on here? Just taking away much of the fight out of his opponent, and you can see that the Raiders are just nearby. Is he going to try and buy a Goblin Zeppelin? There it is. And is he going to be able to pick it up? No, he is not. There's the Ensnare as well, but the Guard Towers should end up being completed, and now this is just a strange fight to be in. Guard Towers are up. There's the Ensnare. Guard Towers Ensnare onto the Archmage. Archmage now in a bit of trouble. He is completely surrounded, but the Fly's Raider is very low on hit points. Is he going to be able to get away? Is he going to be able to get picked up? No, he is not going to get picked up. Ensnare on the Goblin Zeppelin again, and there he goes. Down he goes, as the Sorceress now running straight for the Guard Towers, knowing that that's their only hope in order to stick around and save it, but it doesn't look all that good. Ensnare is now coming in. Guard Towers focusing onto the Shadow Hunter. Shadow Hunter using a potion, or that Health Stone, and there is the GG. Fly taking the game here in game number 3. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.